bartenders, whatever. Alcohol is a big deal in Zambia. Let's not try to act it. No, it's
so what Samba triggered is a movement that is going on in Japan where they are propagating the consuming of alcohol. They are saying Japan doesn't drink much alcohol compared to these other European countries. So they want to up
the
consumption so that their economy can. A sober person is more creative compared to a drunk. Most of the people, when you're stressed out or you don't want to sort out a particular problem, you just get yourself and sleep. But when you are a sober character, you go to sleep, your mind will still be thinking about that thing that you failed to sort out until an idea of how to sort it out comes up.
Owen, I'm sure you're very familiar with this news item. That seems not to be going anywhere. I think the first time it broke the news should be like a month ago, where Dr. Sampa started an advocacy. He first decided he was just supposed to say, no, alcohol should be banned in Zambia. He gave a couple of reasons, which are very valid reasons. And he saw that he did not get as much traction from that. Then he did was it a walk or what was the first time? To where? To Kawe, yes. So he did the Kawe walk. With that one got some attention, and it even got him impeached because he was the president of the Association of Doctors, whatever it's called, the Doctors Association. They say, no, you're not going to be using us to pursue your own agenda or our name, so out of here. So he's still a doctor officially, but he's not a representative for that association. Then that makes the news for a while. During the same week that he was doing the walk, is it Zambian Breweries, the launch of is it a factory or whatever, like the big launch? Just like, yo, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to send a message to him to say what you're doing is nonsense or whatever? Anyway, so that happened. Then that dwindled down a bit ago. But this became a major conversation in the nation. People are like, no,
it's still
the pros and cons, whatever, alcohol. And it seems like every side has got reasons to say, no, those that take alcohol, like, no, distress or whatever, it takes away the stress. And then others are saying, no, the examples, like, for example, Msonda Alfonso, a Zambian popular musician, they say you can see how bad it can take you the other route.
Yes.
Now, it should be like, is he even back from Chipata?
He's still doing it.
Has he reached?
But
he hasn't reached.
Almost.
But have you seen his feet? Like,
I saw recently he posted where he's got a feet swollen,
bruised and whatever.
Chipata is a big distance.
Dude, if you've been in a fast car, it's not a short distance.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
So for me, I think I'll give him a support.
Is it because you don't take alcohol? Are you viewing it from both points of view?
I'm looking at both point of view. I think he's got the attention that he is looking for. And obviously, apart from just the complete ban, I think as a nation, we need to start looking at formulating policies around consumption of alcohol. In as much as alcohol is a soft drug, I think it's a mother of all these.
Yes, everything stems from that eventually.
Yes. So there's no one who goes direct to hard cocaine.
Yes.
You start with alcohol, eventually you graduate until. There's no one who just starts maybe prostitution. You start with alcohol, then you venture into.
Are you sure? That example?
Yes. You can't do prostitution.
All prostitutes drunkards.
Yes, in a sober mind. Mostly you start from drinking, then eventually you go
other vices.
So a lot of problems. I think some of us, we've got testimonies from where we're coming from, or even the background of some of our relatives who've really ruined their lives because of alcohol. So with me, I will give you my support. In as much as there are a lot of economic
benefits. That's one thing that has been said to say. The number of people that are employed by these breweries. In fact, not just breweries, even bars. It's like they're the largest employers. But in as much as the level of income is different. Like, for example, those that work for the actual brewery industry, they get the same pay. Those bartenders, whatever. Alcohol is a big deal in Zambia. Let's not try to act it. No.
So if what Sampa triggered, I think Japan also triggered something. There's a movement that is going on in Japan where they are propagating the consuming of alcohol. They're saying Japan doesn't drink much alcohol compared to these other developed countries, so they want to up
the consumption
so that their economy can be boosted.
So they pretty much the opposite of what Sampa is.
But if you look at the benefits of what Japan has achieved because of the sober citizens, the cars they manufacture, and the creativity that is there in Japan.
Is that singly attributed to non-consumption of alcohol?
Yes, basically, a sober person is more creative compared to a drunk. Most of the people, when you're stressed up or you don't want to sort out a particular problem, just intoxicate yourself and sleep. But when you are a sober character, you go to sleep, your mind will still be thinking about that thing that you failed to sort out until an idea of how to sort it out comes up. Yes, and tomorrow you wake up, you fix it, and off you go. Me, I've read a lot of books about these guys who manufactured things, who are inventors. There are certain times they would dream of an idea on how to go and start. So obviously if you're a drunken person, I think
you will be in that state that you wake up and take note and implement it. But then again, one thing that we attribute it to, since this is Zambian setup and the campaign is in Zambia, I think overall is aware that it will not yield the ban completely, but it's a conversation that is trying to stir up in the nation to say, if we look at the examples of people that have been affected and the lives of people and families that have been affected from this alcohol, let's have this conversation. Because if he was just going to start an advocacy to say, let's start a campaign of a discussion, people wouldn't be interested. That's not the conversation that to trigger. But when you start, like you walk, your feet get swollen, and then people are like, what is this individual? Because it's not someone that a random person. This is a very educated person and a very informed person. So it's not a random guy from the street that you think, and it's coming from a medical.
Yes, and he's got a lot of statistics about how many cases in hospitals are due to alcohol, how many mental patients we've got in our health facilities due to consumption of alcohol. So this person is learned, he knows what he's talking about, he has handled patients who have been in conditions like that because of alcohol. So he's talking from a well-informed
position.
Yeah, so I think, for me, I think the government should, I think, pay attention to what.
So if the government is made the news, everyone's having a conversation about it. So what would be the way forward in your point of view? Is it a complete ban as this is advocating for, or is it the regulations? What is supposed to be changed? Because if you say it's reducing the age limit, that's already in place. In as much as maybe implementation is different in the ghettos, which are the majority of what Zambia is. If you talk about closing bars at a certain hour of the night, it's done. I think it's 22 hours unless something has changed. Last I checked,
so it's the implementation. Okay. There are a lot of policies that are there. I think a lot of people can agree with me. So in terms of time to open a bar, it's usually
10 hours and then
10 hours
and close at 10 again in the night.
Yes. So I think those are some of the things they are not following. There's no one to.
Do you see how they're getting through it? Because there's this new element that has started where they implement a restaurant element to it. So you say during the day it's a restaurant, in as much as a customer would order something related to alcohol, but they came to buy food. So that's how they beat the system. People will always find a solution to it. Because and that's what's common in these popular malls.
I think also we also want to throw the responsibility to the bar owners as well as the manufacturers of this alcohol. Obviously, they know the devastating effects of alcohol and how many people have ended up to be useless in society due to consumption of alcohol. Can we be responsible in as much as we need the money? Just like money of the
You're talking as a Christian now. You're not talking as a typical, and you're talking as someone who has faith. Majority of the world is very capitalist, and if something is making you money and it's you start a business,
so let me give you an example. Yes. So in as much as something is making you money, just look at the car. they look at all
Safety
safety measures, a seat belt, comfortable, a airbag, and all that.
Yes.
So even the people who are manufacturing alcohol, please, do you want to kill your consumer there and then? Who's going to be your next customer? Can we sustain those, And, someone was making a joke recently on Facebook where he said, is it beer manufacturers are the only ones who are ashamed of their customers? Why don't they use drunks?
But they use like sober people
to advertise alcohol.
This is what
they should do. Picture that and say
eventually this is what is going to
yes. So they know that's not.
But do you know where the argument comes in? There's that element to say not to be sold to people under the age of 18.
That is not enough.
It's assumed you've got the ability to reason as an individual when you go and buy. It's not my responsibility as a bar owner to come and regulate you. I'm not your parent. I'm not whatever. You are an adult. You can make your own decisions. So if you're dealing with any things and then you come and use my bar as a venting mechanism to say, I'm going to consume as much alcohol. When my baseline, I look, his consumption is adding up. Self-consciousness, you cannot force it on people. If someone has not grown up with that, you cannot say, no, this is now that to side a business and the results are what I want. No, the effects are negative. I'm going to change it.
So basically, when you're in business, so you go there not really to exploit your customer. That's where institutions like consumer protection comes in, the government.
So that's government, not the individual that's running the business.
Basically, that's the reason why SAMPA wants to attract those institutions to think about what he's talking about. The government wins that policymakers, implementers to look at what he's trying to communicate, And I think even if he's not going to achieve the complete ban, I think someday the government or any other institution should honor him for what he has done. Basically, walking from here to Kawe,
now
again from Lusaka to Chipata. I think we those institutions that looks to honor heroes or what we call.
On that, is it Independence Day when they honored
there's a particular word you use, people who steer maybe a particular movement to
gallant son of the soul, whatever.
Yes, something. I think he should be honored for what he has done so far.
You think it's worth it?
It's very much worth it. It's very much worth it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you in agreement to say Sampa's advocacy is worth honoring, or is pursuing his personal agenda? Because
and actually, that is a proper job of a doctor. Apart from preventive measures. So the success of a fire brigade is not looked at how much fire you've quenched. It's how you've prevented fires from happening. So even as a doctor, the more you sensitize people from what causes these ailments, then you are a proper doctor. Why should you want people come for treatment all the time? And I think he's doing a great job. Even if he was impeached by the institution.
Fellow doctors, not fellow doctors, his friends. He was impeached by his friends. Yeah. Said, no, you're not going to use us.
They are consumers.
Big time consumers, big time. Yeah. And the various examples were cited. Engineers even failing. They're like, no, because they're using one of his works where he's looking scruffy to say, look at this guy. He's a sober guy, and look at this drunkard, very sober, smart, a drunkard, look at the two. And this one is advocating for non-consuming of alcohol. Yeah. So you can see he's facing a lot of opposition, but the good thing is that this is the conversation. Look at, we're having a conversation about it on Kutika. That goes to show it's stirred up enough interest in the nation for people to have a conversation about it. Because you'll find we're a very small population in terms of the land is big in Zambia, but the population is very small. I think the new statistics that have been conducted, we're yet to find out our numbers yet, but I doubt it hit 30 million. We're not yet 30 million.
We are likely.
Not 27 or somewhere.
We can reach that.
30 million.
From the tentative figures people have been
throwing around.
Yeah, so we'll wait for the
statistics to come out. But the point I was trying to put across is that our level of consumption, you'll be surprised, like the level of alcohol consumption. And not only do people consume the the branded alcohol is what we call kachasu and the kankram and the number of jirijiris and stuff.
There's also a dangerous alcohol jirijiris that these Chinese have have brought in the market. It's a powdered thing.
So you just put water.
Yes, you dilute on your own water. So obviously, people are making very concentrated. That one is hammering. It's worse off than 2.0. Yes, I think the government should look at that. Even the
who banned, was it Arabi or who banned that GGD? Who was it?
Yes,
it's definitely not Ed Kalunga. Ed Kalunga never banned anything. Not like really.
It was during Arabi.
If there's one person that literally who lived in that office for laissez-faire is Edgar.
Yeah, the Minister of Local Government and Health banned those.
I'm saying in which government? It's definitely not in Edgar's government.
It was during
Rupiah's.
Yeah, yes.
The Edgar doesn't play with alcohol like that. We ban what? You find a student like no, Owen, what's the answer? He does not even know where he is. No, but that almost took out our nation.
Yes.
You remember our level of alcohol consumption is so bad that our first president at some point resigned to be president to say, I cannot be a president of drunkards, if you're aware of that. There was a point where he threatened, people had to beg. This was the time when Keiko was very popular, people loved him, and whatever. Where him resigning, people were like, no, please, we're going to reduce. So that's how bad it is. So it's a conversation worth having, yes, because in each family you can see various examples, people with promising futures that have been destroyed.
Yeah.
But then again, the upside is that a lot of people have made a lot of money and people have been sent to school out of alcohol. My dad works for the Zambian breweries, my mother works for the Shanshan, different examples. So they'll always drive it back to not to be sold to people under the age of 18, meaning you're an adult. So it's not our responsibility to to parent you. But anyway, what do you think? Do you think Dr. Samba is in the right? Or do you think the other doctors that have kicked him out of his are on the right? Leave your comments on this post. We have a conversation. We're very active with that. Share the video with someone that you think it will help. And catch you next time.